Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Goffstown Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting of July, what's the date today, 7th?
7.
If you wouldn't mind joining me, stand please and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Just a little bit of business before we actually get started. This is a public hearing in accordance with the Governor's Emergency Order Number 12 pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04. The Zoning Board of Adjustment is utilizing the emergency meeting provisions of RSA 91A to conduct meetings through electronic means while preserving to the extent feasible the public's right to notice of such meetings and ability to observe and listen contemporaneously. Tonight, you can listen contemporaneously on the telephone by calling 603-766-5646. That's 766-5646. Once you call in, you'll need to enter the participation code 785-645, followed by the pound sign. So please make sure you do enter that pound sign after the numbers to participate. And if you're having difficulty calling in to the number to participate, call 603-660-5000 for assistance. And we're going to say a little bit more protocol about that in just a second, just to make sure we have everything on the record. As chair of the Goffstown Zoning Board of Adjustment, due to the COVID-19 outbreak, in accordance with Governor Sununu's Emergency Order Number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this board is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the Governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. The ZBA is utilizing a telephone conference line for the electronic meeting. The public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, to participate in this meeting by dialing 603-766-5646 and using the participation code 785-645, followed by the pound sign. We are providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. The town previously gave notice to the public of how to access the meeting using the available telephone number with the posted agenda. We are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body, during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem with telephone access, please call 603-660-5000. We will adjourn the meeting if the public's unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we'll adjourn it and have it rescheduled at that time. All votes that are taken during this meeting will be done by roll call vote. Each member will introduce themselves or say their name as they cast their vote. And as we introduce the board in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to ask that each member also state, each member who is participating remotely, that is, to please state if there is anyone else in the room with them during the meeting. That's a requirement under the right to know law. And we'll do that in just a minute. The ZBA meeting instructions. We're an elected board of 5 members and up to 5 appointed alternates. Currently, we do have our 5 members, but we don't have any alternates. So if there is anyone out there who is interested in being an alternate on the zoning board, please contact Nancy Larson in Town Hall for more information. The board has a posted agenda for each meeting and tends to follow the items in order. The board will open the public hearing on an application to receive testimony from the applicants, abutters, and affected parties, and to ask questions. The public hearing will then be closed, and the board will enter into a deliberative session to discuss the merits of the appeal. Those who do want to make public comment may do so, and they first must state their name and address for the record. For each application, the board will decide to approve with conditions, deny, or continue to a later meeting. You're welcome to watch the deliberations this evening on GTV or Facebook. or you can contact Nancy Larson at Town Hall to get the results. For any motion made, there must be an affirmative vote of at least 3 members for that motion to prevail. An applicant can request a continuance if there's not a full 5-member board to act on an application. And if you are aggrieved by a decision made by the ZBA tonight, you have the right to appeal to the Superior Court. However, before appealing to the Superior Court, you must request a rehearing with this board to preserve your right to appeal. Rehearing requests must be filed within 30 days of the decision, and it must state all reasons why the decision was unlawful or unreasonable. And failure to request a rehearing may forfeit your ability to appeal to Superior Court. And the board is going to introduce themselves. We'll start here at Town Hall first. And we have, we'll start with Nancy. Sorry.
Nancy Larson, Zoning Code Enforcement Officer.
Leonard Stewart, Vice Chairman.
I'm Gail LeBrecq. I'm the chairman, and I'm also the recording secretary.
Denise Langley, member.
And remotely, we have,
Sam, are you still there?
Parker member. Yep.
Thank you.
and
Parker member.
thanks, Sam. And Alan's still not on.
Alan's still not on.
Okay, so we have 4 members tonight. So any of our applicants need to know that for any motion to prevail, whether it's a motion to approve or deny, it needs at least 3 in favor of whatever that motion is, or else it's basically a non-motion. So that's something to keep in mind when it's your turn. You have the option, if you'd like, to continue it to another meeting. The first thing on the agenda tonight is to address the minutes to the meeting of June 2nd. And I'm going to entertain a motion for approval or amendments.
Participants unmuted.
Sorry.
Okay.
I motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Denise has made a motion, and Len has seconded the motion to approve the minutes. All in favor? We'll take a vote here.
Aye.
Leonard Stewart, aye.
Sandra Parker?
Aye.
And Gail LeBrecq, aye. So the motion carries 4-0. Minutes are approved. Okay, the first application on the agenda is one that was continued from last week, or last month. J.E. Belanger Land Surveying PLLC. Applicant Wade and Kayla Nault, owners, seek a variance to construct an attached garage 3.7 feet from the side property line, whereas 25 feet is the minimum required. This concerns Section 4.3, Table of Dimensional Regulations of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located at 625 Blackbrook Road, map 11, lot 18-2. It's zoned agricultural, and it was continued from last month. And I do want to explain that this was continued last month because we had the issue of not having a full board, and we did not have a vote of 3 for any of the motions that were made. So it was kind of an automatic thing to continue them to this week so that we would have a more full board. We don't have a full board now. So the question is, what do you folks want to do with your application?
I think we'd like to try and go through tonight, and if it doesn't work out, then we'll continue it again, I guess.
Okay, now you realize that if we get 3 that deny, not having a full board still makes that vote a valid vote, and that's not a reason for an appeal
I think we're okay.
or a request for rehearing. You're
We'll
okay?
take a chance sometime.
You want to go forward? Okay. Sandra,
Yes.
did you review the minutes to, well, you must have, because you voted on them.
Yes.
And especially to this application? Okay, because
I'm sorry, I missed that last bit. But just so you know, I have reviewed the minutes. I did see where there was a 2-to-1 vote, and it looked like Alan was not for this, so we had to put it to this week.
Okay, where you guys have both reviewed the application, I don't think we need to start from scratch.
No.
We'll maybe let them give a summary, and then if there are any questions, we can go from there so that they don't have to go through everything all over again unless they want to.
No, I think that would be good. In fact, I'd like to answer a couple questions the board had from last time.
Okay, well, why don't you come up there and have a seat? Whoever's gonna do the talking?
I'm Dave Nault. I'm gonna
Okay.
be providing the building materials and helping them with the construction of their project. You guys, Leonard had a question, I think, of the distance between the closest neighbor's house to the right of their house. That distance is about 165 or 70 feet to where that new addition will be. And that's all pretty much fully treed. I think the neighbor has maybe 15 or 20 feet of lawn and the rest is trees all the way to their property.
Okay, now that's from the garage to their house.
That's right.
Okay,
And I checked, all the abutters do have two-stall garages on all around them, even across the street.
okay.
That was another question. During our proposal last time, one of the biggest things was looking at the 28 feet we requested and looking at Leonard's option of reducing it down to 24 feet, and we said we were okay with that as long as, as long as we could do at least a two-car. The one-stall car garage didn't really work. I want to make sure that everybody realizes the note on there that the reason for them coming to the ZBA is the closeness, but also there's ledge on three sides, the other three sides of the house. There's septics in the front yard and there are wells in the back, so there's not really any other options, so the ledge is a real hardship on this case, which I know you have to meet. But I wanted to show these two plans, and the reason I did is, we have two full-size vehicles. Here's the existing entry into the house. They're hoping to make a boot room here in the back as well. Coming in with full-size vehicles, you have to have a certain size garage door in order not to have to fold the wheels down. So I did this 24-foot plan, and you can see that with the two full-size vehicles, either you'd have to try and kitty corner them or remove these stairs. So I guess I'd like to go through with the members that we have tonight and see if they'd be willing to go with this proposal, only because the vehicles fit better. It's a more usable garage for them at the 28 feet. And if that doesn't work, instead of leaving it, I'd let the board amend it to the 24 feet.
Now, you said something about the wheels down?
I might have said wheels, I meant the mirrors.
Oh.
If your mirrors are open,
It's a special kind of vehicle.
if you don't have a vehicle where the mirrors fold in automatically, you have to have a 10-foot garage door to get in them.
Okay.
It's one thing if you have the automatic ones, but stopping to fold your mirrors and get out of the vehicle is, the driver's side's not too bad, but the other side doesn't really work, so. They've got 4 young boys, they've got a Tahoe and a full-size pickup truck that they'd like to put in there, so. We originally considered a 24-foot wide garage, and then Wade called me back and said, realistically, to get in there properly, we should have the 28 feet, so that's what we figured we'd come with worst-case scenario, but we would rather leave tonight with an approval for one of the two, so.
Does the garage have those poles in between the two
No.
bays? Okay.
We've clear spanned it with a beam that's on that design that you see on the side elevation there.
Madam Chair, the applicant submitted, I can't read from here, but my guess is it's the same plan as what's posted, it's 28-foot wide garage. I can pass this around.
That would
I
be
can
nice.
also make a couple of copies for you folks
It's
upstairs.
just-
That's
Pass
not
it
necessary
around.
for me,
You
I
can
can
see that
see.
one, okay?
I can kind of sympathize because my garage, I don't know its dimensions, but I have a van I have to park and it's got poles. And it's a tight squeeze to get out of it.
Yeah, with them poles in the way.
It's very tight squeeze, so.
And it's very common, that's how we used to build them, with the poles in the center, and, the more we've done them and people have these larger cars with these doors now, we try and get away from that.
Yeah.
We can't physically fit in a smaller car.
And you are, your name?
Kayla Dahl.
They don't make small pickup trucks anymore anyway.
We need 6 seats.
Extra kids aren't part of the variance, so.
Yeah, it's not a hardship.
Financial hardship.
Well, yeah. It's a hardship, but not one here. I'm all set. I
All
have
set?
a good view of this, thank you.
Okay, is there anything else that you want to add?
No, I think those are the only questions the board really had from us. I wanted to make sure we went over the ledge for the new members here. The buffer is pretty sufficient there. It's really from house to house, fully treed. And then I just wanted to show that plan showing the vehicles inside there. I had it redrawn to, give a good visual of it.
Denise, do you have any questions?
I
You weren't here.
don't.
You weren't here last
I
month.
don't right now.
Okay. Sam, do you have any questions of the applicant?
No, I was by to see the property today, and I can see why they have issues.
Okay.
Can Sam see the drawings by chance, or?
Not unless she's watching. Can you see the drawings that are put up, Sam? Are you watching GTV at the same time?
No, I'm not watching the GTV. I have my pictures, because like I said, I was by there today, so I saw this, how it was staked out on the property, and I did see, how, they have the ledge in the front, they have the back ledge, and the way the house is situated really does make it very hard to put it in any other place.
Okay. All right, so, questions?
No, my,
Yeah, and,
Go ahead, Sam.
no, I was just saying, looking at this through 24 feet versus 28 feet, it's minute in my eyes. I truly, I don't know how, we would end up, having guide them into anything. It would have to be something they would bring forward, what you spoke about before. And now we just have to think about what the merit is on this one.
Okay. Len, do you have any questions?
The questions that I had earlier were addressed.
Okay, and I don't have any questions. I guess we will open the hearing to the public. Is there any public on the line that would like to make comment on this application? This is the.
I have a number, call in with the last four digits 5023. Can you identify yourself?
We're waiting for the Marces.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. That will be coming up fairly shortly. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you again, okay?
Sure thing.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so there's no other public that has.
No other public.
All right, then with no public comment, I'm going to close the public hearing, and we are going to deliberate on this application.
so interesting enough, when this first came up, I'm like, 4.7 feet, whoa.
Yes.
So I did, I read the minutes, and I know the location, and they really don't have a choice. The abutter doesn't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
24 feet or 28 feet, I'm fine with the 28 feet. I think at 24 feet, there's either gonna be banged up walls, exterior walls, or they're not gonna park in it. I mean, eventually, it's just not gonna work. So I say, I have no issue with the 28-foot
Okay.
garage.
And likewise, I don't have any issue with the 24 feet was offered the last time. It's kind of a compromise.
And I appreciate that. It was a good
Due to
idea.
the discussion to see if we could do something with it, but like Denise, I have no problem with the 28 feet.
And I appreciate that they did the exercise.
Yes, I do appreciate that a lot. And I know for me, initially, when I saw the distance, that it was just 3.7 feet. That just kind of
Right.
made me, things flash a little bit. But it was the ledge that is a true hardship. Your house is surrounded by the ledge. So there's really no other choice for you to be able to do something different. So I don't have a problem with it. Do we have a motion then? Are we ready for a motion? Do we need more discussion?
I'll make a motion
Okay?
to grant the applicant a variance to construct a garage 3.7 feet from the side property line, whereas 25 feet is the minimum required. And this would include the 28-foot garage as discussed.
As, at the 28 as presented.
as presented.
28 feet.
And I will second.
Okay. All right, so we have the motion from Denise and the second from Len to approve this application as presented with a 28-foot wide garage.
I've already heard from.
And so we are going to take a roll call vote. We'll start with Sam. Your vote?
Well, Lucy and I vote positively on this one.
Okay.
Hi, Lucy.
Yeah.
Denise?
Yes.
Len?
Yes,
And I say yes, you have your variance 4-0.
That was pretty painless tonight.
Thank you for coming back.
Did you want these for the record? Okay with me.
I think we've got
have
this
some
one,
in the
so that
record,
should be good.
Yeah, I'm all set. Hey, Dave, you said there was a revised one on the bottom there?
That's
It's-
the 24.
Just shows the cars in it.
Okay.
Same plan with cars.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll just grab that.
Okay, the bottom one is the smaller one, so I'll give you the top one.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Oh, we just got wiped out.
Okay, our next application is, the applicants are calling in remotely, I understand. Jamie and Richard Morse, applicants' owners, are seeking a variance to place a 10 by 12-foot shed within 1 foot of the side property boundary, whereas 10 feet is required for an accessory building with a building footprint 600 square feet or less. This concerns section 5.1.1 accessory buildings of the Goffstown zoning ordinance, and the property is located at 79 New Boston Road, map 33, lot 13, zoned residential 1. Do we have a representative on the line for this application?
Jamie Morse was on the line. I'll have to call her and see,
What happened?
yes, and I'll have to run up to my office because my phone is out in the car.
You want to use mine?
Oh, sure, if you don't mind.
don't mind.
I'll wear my mask.
Hello?
Oh, hi, Jamie, I was just gonna call you. We lost you for a minute
sorry.
there.
Yeah, I know, I went to hit the unmute button and I got disconnected.
That's
So you have
perfectly
me on the
understandable.
line tonight?
What's that?
Not my husband, he's, but you have me on the line tonight, but not my husband, he's in the middle of doing something for work.
Okay, not a problem. I saw that you were gonna be dialing in, so how are you today?
I'm doing well, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Okay, so Jamie, do you want to tell us about your application?
So I'm asking for a variance for the sideline of my property, to install a 10 by 12 shed, not 10 by 20 like the paper said.
Yeah, we revised that, so it's, I feel
I
set
just
now.
want to let anybody else know who called in, so just in case they're scared I'm gonna build a giant sized garage, I'm really not. So it'll be like on the side of my property, saying like the Bog Road area, so it's like more of like the neighbors that I don't have anymore that live on Bog Road. It'll be facing their house within like maybe 1 to 1.5 feet from the property line. Cause it'll be like maybe like a foot from my fence, which I think is like a half a foot from the property line.
Okay.
I mean, it's over 72 feet from the sidewalk on New Boston Road, and it's over 30 feet from the back area where they said that there was a pipe, like some sort of piping that's back there, like water pipes or something.
Uh-huh. Now,
There's an,
That's all.
Jamie, this is Nancy. When I spoke to your husband a couple weeks ago, I had forwarded him a copy of the latest plan we have as a lot line adjustment plan, and it shows an iron pipe at that rear corner, and you can actually see it from the street. So I had at least Google Street View for that particular year. I didn't have access to my vehicle, so I just relied on Google Street View, and I think he said he was able to find that and I believe some other monuments on the property.
Yes, we were, and then I also had my neighbor that lives behind me on Bog Road, Jimmy, I don't remember his last name, but I had him come over and see where I would put the shed, because I'm not gonna put it on the back of my property or next to his garage or near the Coughlin's house. It was more to be closer to the side of my house, just to store my equipment and lawn furniture, and so it wouldn't even have power or anything to it, just to store equipment. And
Now, Nancy, is this the application that we got because I'm not finding it in my paperwork here. We got a letter from an abutter who had no problem with it?
There is, I do remember seeing a letter from an abutter. I don't recall if this is the one. Let me check if it's not attached to my,
I'm pretty sure it was the one on, I want to say it was New Boston Road, but,
yeah, I think you're right. Let's see, towards the end. Yeah, I don't have it attached to mine either, but I did come across it, this afternoon, so pull that out.
Letter, yeah. Here, letter from a butter at 79.
okay. I'm going to read the letter from the abutter. Is it
Probably
here?
PDF attached, let me.
Was it right here? Did you open it by Adobe?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to read the letter from the abutter who stated, this is regarding the ZBA notification of June 23rd, 2020, Jamie and Richard Morse variance. After receiving the notification, I met with Jamie to discuss her plans for installing a 10-foot by 12-foot shed. This will be placed along the fence on the left side of the backyard. Please let it be known that as an abutter, I have no objections to their plan, and it is signed from James Chekaroff.
oh, well, it's good to know Jimmy's last name.
Okay, so we have that. Before we go any further, I would like to entertain a motion from the board regarding regional impact.
I'll move no regional impact.
Second.
Len made the motion for regional impact and Denise seconded it. We're going to take a roll call vote. Sandra?
No regional impact.
Okay. Denise?
No regional impact?
Len?
No regional impact.
And me as well, so no regional impact, 4-0. All right, now we can resume. If you want to tell us any more about your application, Jamie?
Nope, I think I told you everything I needed to tell you. Plus, I think you guys have the picture of what the look of the shed would look like and
Yep.
where it would be placed inside your packet.
Yep. Okay. In
So
your,
it won't be an eyesore, I promise. It will be really pretty.
okay, in your application, there is, for the variance, there were some criteria, some questions you had to answer. Do you have those with you so that we can get those into the record? Or would you prefer I read them into the record myself?
Can you read them? Because I don't have a copy of it.
Oh, that's fine. This is those 5 questions about how you meet the variance criteria. Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because it will be a prefab shed. I will not bother any neighbors for having it in the backyard. The spirit of the ordinance is observed because I'll be within 1 foot of my property line. The variance calls for 10 feet. If I place it 10 feet from any part of my property line, it will be in the middle of my backyard. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because it will allow for us to have storage for our lawn maintenance equipment and our lawn furniture. Values of the surrounding properties will not be diminished because it will not decrease the value of the property or those around it. Regarding hardship and special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessarily hardship. And you said it will not decrease property values. And you said the proposed use is a reasonable one because it will only be used for storage and no electrical will be installed in it. Is there anything you'd like to add to those comments?
No, I think that's everything. I hope I answered those questions correctly. It's the first time I've ever filled out those papers before.
Yeah, that's okay. We encounter that often.
Okay.
Good. She has hardship, which that's not a hardship, but she has it somewhere else. She has it on the number 2.
Okay.
She has it on, the number 2.
Okay.
She has it on, the number 2. 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 She has it If I place it 10 feet from
Yeah,
my,
yeah.
okay, so
Yes,
that's,
we can,
I'm just
yeah, we don't have to,
clarifying that.
yeah, we don't have
Okay.
we don't have to take
So you're
this.
saying the hardship would be is if I didn't get the variance, my shed would be in the middle of my yard?
Yes,
The size of your
I
lot.
agree with that. I don't have a very big yard, it's only like, it's less than a half, it's like 0.4 something.
Okay.
Well, which leads me to this is Len Stewart. My question is, why particularly you're putting it right in the middle of your fence line there? I see going by the aerial here that it's kind of near to the neighbor's buildings on the other side of the fence. A, is that their residence or is that a garage? And B, couldn't you place it a little further toward the back of the property without getting out into the middle of the yard?
So if the building that's next to my fence is their neighbor's garage, they used to have a shed like right next to it too, and I didn't really care, so that part didn't bother me. The other thing is if I put it any further back into the yard, then I'll be within a certain amount of distance from that pipe.
So, yeah, I can clarify they had originally shown a sketch with that shed closer to, so farther into the backyard, closer to Bog Road, but this lot has two frontages. It has frontage on Bog Road and has frontage on New Boston Road, so they have two front yard setbacks that they have to adhere by. And the shed, no matter what the size is, can't be located in that front yard setback, which is 35 feet. So measuring back from that corner pin, which was located along at the corner of Bog Road.
Yeah, down here.
And yeah,
Okay, understood now. Thank you.
you will.
Okay. Does anybody have any, Denise, do you have any questions of the applicant?
who does the fence belong to?
Which fence, the brown fence, that's mine.
Okay.
I had to replace it because my other one fell down.
So the fence goes right between you and the neighbor where you put in the shed?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Sam, do you have any questions?
No, not at this time.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. Are we ready for public comment? Okay, then I'm going to close I'm going to open the hearing to the public for comment, if there is anybody there. Please remember to dial pound nine,
It's
star nine.
nine.
Star nine.
Pound
Pound nine.
It is, hold on, let me check.
I always forget these things.
It is.
R9, according to the minutes at least.
You can call in and enter the participation code, and the call-in number is area code 603-766-5646.
Here, Gail.
Once you will call in, you would need to enter the participation code, which is 785-645, followed by the pound sign.
And if they want to speak, they need to dial star nine to raise their hand and be recognized.
And if they want to speak, then yes.
That's what you told me last
Star
month.
9 to raise their hand.
That's what you told me last month, so that's what I was
Yes.
reading from.
I have my cheat notes here.
Yes. Okay, so this is open to the public. Is there any member of the public online, Nancy, that would like to comment?
My computer just went to sleep, so
Wake it up.
get up. No, there is only, oops, I'm sorry. This is more, so, yes, there is one member of the public that would like to speak if
Well,
it's
yeah.
time for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bring them on.
okay. Hello, I'm calling to the number of the last four digits of 5023. You want to speak? You want to speak with respect to the Morse application? This is your time now to offer any comments for or against, or just ask questions? Can you hear me okay?
Is she muted?
Let me double check.
Hello?
Oh, sorry, I had you muted by mistake. I forgot to unmute you. Okay, so I don't know if you, if you heard anything that I said.
I did.
Okay, great. So, could you just identify yourself for the record?
It's Kathy Coughlin and Margaret Coughlin, 83 New Boston Road. We just are in support, or don't have any objections to the shed. The Morris's backyard is super small and irregular because of the roads on both sides. And it's completely fenced, and we're fully in support of their application.
Well, thank you for calling in. That's very nice of you. Very kind.
Sorry I muted you.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you
you.
very much.
Is there anybody else that is on the line, Nancy?
There is no one else on the line, except one other applicant.
Okay, then I am, Jamie, do you have anything else you want to add before the board goes into deliberations?
Oh, I just want to thank the Coughlins for calling in, and thank you to Jimmy for those kind words in his letter, and thank you for your consideration.
Okay, then I'm going to close the public hearing, and the board is going to enter deliberations on this application. Board, comments, or
If you're ready, I'll just offer a motion that the variance be approved as requested. I think the fact I didn't realize that we were dealing with a double setback situation, which does pose a definite difficulty for them, so
it sure does.
approve as requested.
I second. Denise.
Okay, so we have the motion to approve the application from Len, and we have the second from Denise, and we're going to take a roll call vote. Sam?
Yes.
Okay, Denise?
Yes.
Len?
Yes,
And I say yes, so the motion carries 4-0. You have your variance to put your shed where you'd like.
As presented.
Yes, as presented. I stand corrected. Are you there, Jamie?
Jamie, are you still
I'm
here?
here. I'm still here. I just hear a lot of feedback. So I
Yeah,
guess
let me,
somebody has TV on.
Hold on just a second. Let me, make sure that I, mute that. Hold on.
Oh, there we go. I can hear it
Is
better.
that better? Okay.
Okay. Jamie, you have your variance, it's been granted to put your shed, 10 feet by 12 feet shed, as you presented in your application and as we discussed it here tonight.
Thank you guys so much for
You're-
your consideration.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jamie. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Our next application tonight is David Skersey, applicant owner seeking a variance to construct an 8-foot by 12-foot addition for mechanical room within approximately 14 feet from the side property line, whereas 25 feet is required, and to construct a porch deck within approximately 32 feet from the property line, whereas 35 feet is required. This concerns Section 4.3, Table of Dimensional Regulations of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located at 39 Incline Ave. It's a Class 6 roadway. It's at map 42, lot 13, zoned agricultural. And pursuant to RSA 674-41, the applicant also requires select board approval for issuance of a building permit on a Class 6 road. So first, I would like to entertain a motion regarding regional impact.
no regional impact.
Thank you, Len.
Second.
Thank you, Denise. We have the motion from Len and the second from Denise, finding no regional impact. And we will do a roll call vote. Sam?
I hear you. No regional impact.
Okay, Denise?
No regional impact.
Len?
No regional impact.
And the same for me, so the motion carries 4-0. There is no regional impact. And do we have an applicant or a representative for this application online?
David, are you still there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you just speak up a little bit higher, louder?
Absolutely. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better.
I'm also here with my father, Mark Scursy.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Okay, what do you want to tell us about your variance requests? There's two of them, right?
I believe so. I'm putting in a variance for an addition off the back of my current house to put in for mechanical, electrical, and a fire suppression system, as well as a porch on the front.
Okay. Can you tell us about the dimensions and why you need the variance?
It's going to be a 10 by 12, 8 feet by 14. 8 by, what? Sorry. 8 by 12, I believe, is what I put down off of the back of the house
Uh-huh.
to fit all the mechanical appliances. And the deck was a little bit bigger than that back addition.
Okay.
It's kind of like a farmer's porch. It wraps around.
Yeah, I
I don't know
see,
if you guys have
yeah, I see 8,
pictures.
I see 8 feet on one end of it and 6 on the other, but what's what are the other two dimensions that are there? They're not shown. 8 feet wide and 6 feet, 8 feet wide and 6 feet wide, but how long on each of the ends?
I didn't have it in front of me. I believe that was almost half the length of the house. The overall house was about 32 feet long, I think. So it was
It's more like
just half from the front door. Um,
14.
it'll stick out from the front of the house about 8 feet. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, 8 feet, 6 feet, and then I didn't have that dimension. I apologize.
Yeah. I would like to know those dimensions.
Okay. There's another sheet. The door.
Madam Chair?
Nancy?
It's not longer than 14, 12 to 14 feet to the door, and it would just go to the side of the door. If the pictures that she has, that she took, shows the roof jumping up slightly,
Like a dormer.
especially with the roof higher. And that would be how far it would be going.
Just to the other side of
To the other side of the door?
Right. If you look at the roof,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's big, but
Where's the pictures? I don't have pictures.
On the main,
Be
the
attached
main
to my
package,
staff
not his
report.
package.
Attached to my
The
staff
very-
report.
Cabin. So in lieu of not having a breezeway or anything, it was just something that to allow us to have cover while we're bringing in groceries or and things like that.
Well, I get that, but there's, like I said, there's no dimensions, and in the description, it says, there were two, for the variances, it says approximately 14 feet and approximately 32 feet. And, you know, I'd like to narrow it down a little bit, because approximately, for me, doesn't really cut it.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I have seen in my travels through this neighborhood umpteen times that some of the parcels do have iron pins or iron pipes out front with some orange survey flagging. So, David, have you or your dad tried to locate the monuments for this property? Did you try to do
we
that before?
located the one adjacent from there, and we've measured down from that. The one on the corner of the Aaron's property was able to be identified. And that proposed his corner line, so we measured from there down to establish our position.
Okay, which property are you referencing?
Okay, so across the street, you have, the Garrett's have a property and they have another small lot.
Do you know
For that?
do you know the addresses? Is that, we have the tax map, GIS map with the addresses shown.
Yep, I know. He's stepping out for a moment to grab the map of the town.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I had submitted earlier another print with more dimensions. It showed the deck on that, but.
Yeah, we have a sketch from you of the property, the outline of the property, and the background is green. You have dimensions of 150 by 150 foot lot. You're showing the footprint of the existing home in gray, and then the two proposed additions in yellow with some dimensions for those additions. An approximate distance from property boundaries.
Right, the pin you were able to identify was on the corner of 42-8.
Okay.
I sent one to Catherine Fisher on 5/12 of 2020. It didn't zoom in very well, like my friend showed. It had a bunch of dimensions, and that missing dimension was 14'6". If you zoom in, you can you might be able to see it, but I did send that to Catherine Fisher.
Okay.
It wasn't a very good quality. It did zoom in, and it would clarify itself. I apologize for that.
I have a question for
That
Nancy.
was it.
Okay, go ahead.
Nancy, what's the width of the roads up there?
Through there, I don't know what it is. And they're class 6 roads, so they're no longer maintained by the town. They're pretty narrow.
Is it still, though, the town have the right of way? to
Well,
it?
it's a town road.
It is, okay.
But
so-
the town has no, if the town begins to maintain it, and if they do it consistently for so many consecutive years, then we end up owning it again. I mean, we do own it, but there is no obligation to maintain.
Well, my question is, so when they measure the 38 feet from the road to the structure, is that the town right away, or is that the edge of the road?
Well, oftentimes people are confused, and they're usually measuring from the edge of the road, not the edge of the right of way. It's been a long time since I've looked at the original subdivision plan for this. I venture to guess that it's probably a 40-foot right of way, and the road width is, if it's 12 feet wide, I'd be surprised. 12, 15 feet
I
wide.
was just on that road today, and I can tell you it's unpaved, it's very bumpy, and just big enough for one vehicle.
Yeah.
So even if it's 20 feet, it could have, the right of way could be 10 feet into this 38. Just,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's wrong, I'm just trying to get a grip on it, on what it is.
If you look at one of the attachments on my staff report, it's an old septic approval for the camp. It's across the way that's no longer there. It's labeled as the La Chance 2-bedroom house.
Oh, yes, okay.
See that one? It looks like this.
I don't see.
It's after the photos in my staff.
Yeah, I don't, but I think it's in here.
It's in the application
Yeah,
itself.
I remember seeing
Yeah,
it,
it's in the
okay.
application itself. So it's right after
Mhm.
David Skurzy's sketch. So this, this is
Okay.
not a boundary plan, for sure, but it does show the approximate right-of-way with the traveled way in between.
Mm-hmm,
I don't know what the scale of this plan is, but
okay. Has the applicant been to conservation? Or have they been
No,
notified?
I don't think they need to go to conservation.
Okay.
David, you haven't gone to conservation commission, have you? I don't,
Conservation.
yeah, I'm not sure they do have a conservation easement on town-owned land, abutting your property. And the town was notified as
So.
part of the application, but I don't know, as a regular course of, procedure, if they, offer any comments on this type of request.
But they were notified as an abutter.
Well, the
so.
town was notified, but then did the message get sent to the Conservation Commission is the question.
It would have been sent to the
Okay,
Conservation
then they
Commission as
don't have
well.
any-
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Glenn, you got any questions, comments?
Not at this time.
Now, I do have an issue with these dimensions not being a little more specific, a little more detailed.
And
I-
the details.
Well, how far is it from the proposed deck to Incline Ave? How,
32 feet, which is minus the 6 feet from the 38 number.
minus the 6 from the 38?
But is 38 measured to the road, or is it measured to the front of your property?
Yeah, that was my next question.
We didn't measure all the way to the road itself. We came back trying to figure in the center of the road that the road was 30 feet wide in reality.
Okay. So that'd be 15 feet back from the center of the road.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Nancy?
There's a file, road file upstairs. I can run up there quickly and check to see if there's a road file for incline that would give us some idea as far
Okay.
as the right-of-way width.
Okay, that would be good.
I think that's a great idea.
Should we
Thank
take a
you.
5 minutes?
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, the board's going to take a 5-minute recess while we try to get the road map, or the road plan
file.
for Incline Ave. thanks everybody for waiting. We are back. Nancy, what did you find regarding,
I pulled out all the files for Incline Avenue. A lot of them have to do with building on a Class 6 road and their maintenance agreements filed by the applicant with the Select Board. Those really don't make any references to dimensions of the travelway or the right-of-way. I did find a reference to a 20-foot width on incline, but it didn't specify whether it's a right-of-way or it's the travelway. I would assume that it's probably travelway. The older rights-of-way tend to be, 30 feet, maybe at the narrowest, often 40 feet. There are other files in there that may have an answer for us. But I don't know if it's ever been surveyed. I know individual lots have been surveyed, probably just by the property owners over time, but I think, I can't say for certain, but I suspect that all we have as far as a layout, and wouldn't even be an official layout, would be the original subdivision plan that was, approved way, way long ago. And a lot of those lots have been consolidated, not all the lots have been constructed, and
this is a lot that's been consolidated from, what, like 4 different lots?
a couple anyways.
39, 40, 47, 48.
Yeah, so there's several different lots. One dimension that I was looking for, I was able to figure it out while you were gone, because I was looking for the dimension from the porch to Incline Ave. And that would be 36 feet, because from the house now to Incline Ave is 42, and then you take away the 6 feet of the porch, so it would make it 36 feet. From,
It's 38,
On the other
38
end.
from the corner of the house to, on the front, to
Oh.
Incline Avenue.
Right.
is the house at an angle?
It looks
A
a
little
little bit,
bit,
yeah,
a
it's a
little
little
bit.
bit at an angle. So you
All
take
right.
the 6 away from the 38 and you get the approximate 32.
Okay. That, I want to
Just
be,
a matter of whether that's measuring from the travel way, as
Right.
best as you can discern out there, versus the property boundary, the front property boundary.
Okay.
so how do you suggest we determine that?
David, can you explain once again, maybe using your sketch that you provided, which property corners you were able to locate? And just using, top, bottom, left, right.
Okay, my father could explain.
Yeah, may I speak? This is Mark Sturzi. So if you look at the green picture,
Yep.
on the very right-hand side of that, we were able to identify the property marker directly across the street, as pointed out by Mr. Garrett, the property owner.
Okay.
Notice the mark.
When you say across the street, you're talking about the house that's no longer there, it fell down?
The house, the lot, the house is no longer there, where it borders the house that is there,
Okay, so
corner lot.
can I just explain how we're looking at it in our packets and how it's oriented in our packets? And then maybe we can all be on the same on the same page. So, we are looking at the plan, so your writing is, so Incline Avenue's on the bottom, and then the top right-hand corner of that plan is a compass. And then you have along the right-hand side of that side property boundary, measurement of 150 feet in depth.
Correct.
Okay, and then you've got the existing footprint of the house in gray, and then you have the two proposed additions in that kind of yellowish orange. And then
Yes.
at the, if we just use top, bottom, left, right, at the bottom right-hand corner of the house where you have that wraparound porch, and you have the arrow measuring 38 feet from that bottom right corner of the existing home with an arrow pointing towards Incline Avenue. Were you able to find either the front corner to the left up against Incline or the front corner to the right up against Incline?
The front corner to the right up against Incline, based on the across the street marker, which is identically positioned. The lots are even coming off of the road, coming off of Orr Street. So the two lots are lined up, and directly across that, we were shown basically by the property owner the marker, and use that as a determination.
So the two side property lines that line up identically, with, your lot or the side lot of 42-8, which is 14 Incline Avenue, that's across the
Right.
street from you. I think that's maybe that old White House that fell down and then was demoed. That used
That is
to,
correct.
yeah, that used to have its septic system on your property. That's what we're,
Correct.
right, okay.
Is that 42.8 dash 8?
Yeah, 42-8.
Okay.
So it's that, front property corner directly across your, front property corner that you were able to locate?
Yes.
Okay, so what we don't know for sure right now is how wide the right-of-way is.
So we try to evolve based on that marker and stuff to 30 feet, as best as we could approximate, the road, the path following the actual road.
I have a question.
Okay.
So when you found that corner, how many feet was that to Incline? That you can see the road.
That was about 3 feet off. About three feet off, somewhere
So-
between 3 and 4, off of the
That
path.
would be the
I would
property
say.
line. That would be the property line.
And then on the, how about if you're standing on Incline looking at your property, the property to the left, which is vacant, that's map 42, lot 12.
Right.
So this is in front of the house, down by the road.
Yeah.
Were you able to find that property corner?
We did the best we could based on, the Garens put up a fence along the property.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to keep that as the straight line to say, we're trying to do it, based on their markers.
And who are the Garens? Where? I'm sorry, Mark. Who are the Garens? Where do they live?
The Garens own lot, sorry here, 41-1, 41-2. No, they're in position, they're in the, wrong one. Okay, yeah, 42-9 and 42-8. Directly across from the property.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a fence there, going along with the other fence where the line was. We used that as a straight line to try to position ourselves. We couldn't find an exact, anything in the ground per se, so we could be sure.
So on the same side as your lot, were you able to find any markers at all close to the road?
on our side of the road.
Correct. Not necessarily your lot, but on that side.
We followed down to the other corner. We didn't find a lot on the corner of Orr either across the street. We used the 30 foot measurement, based on the old maps that I have. To base the road and tried to be as accurate as we possibly could. The Darren's had a fence, so we used that as the straight line to try to make sure that we stayed in line with the road.
You have an old map, town map? That
I have 48 from 2004. I have your map, sheet number 48.
So you have the tax map.
tax maps show the width of the roads, the right-of-ways? Nancy?
No. Madam Chair?
Yes,
Ask
Nancy.
a question? Mark, this is Nancy. Were you able to find the rear property corner on the same side of the property where the house is located? So it would be, let's see, the southeast property corner that abuts map 42, lot 15.
No, we weren't able to find anything up there. Yeah, that's pretty, it was pretty thick in there. We did clear out around the house, the brush and stuff, but we did go up there and look, but we didn't find anything resembling any markers. Fallen pine, all kinds of stuff. And we even took measurements, so, we hunted around pretty good.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? This is Janice. I'd be more comfortable if you had this surveyed. I don't have an issue with the distance from your property lines, but I think that nobody's certain where your property lines are. So it's hard for us to give a variance, or, I'm sorry, it's hard for me to give you a variance if we're not certain where your property lines are, especially to the road, even though it's a Class 6.
And
Yeah.
I would, this is Len Stewart, I would also agree.
And this is Mark Sturkey, I've lived up here for 30-something years. I own lot 4164, the old Laxton place, that all this property was deeded from. And I will tell you, there aren't very many markers up here.
Well,
I understand. We're trying to do the best we can with the other current landowners and property owners. The Garens are the abutters across the street. We've talked to the other people. Conservation obvious is there. We've done the measurements off both sides of the streets to try to check our measurements, and they seem to come out pretty well.
Then I would want to know for certain what the town right-of-way is, which
Okay.
shouldn't be very difficult to locate, at the very least. That's my opinion only.
Would Public Works maintain right-of-way maps or any sort of records that would shed any light on it? I have the same problem as Denise. I think we're trying to make a decision based on partial information and, at minimum, we need to know where the right-of-way is to make a decision.
My understanding is that all of the road information is over in room 210 up above us in Town Hall. So I'm not sure if DPW will have anything, but I'll certainly reach out to them. And the other comment I wanted to make is I don't know if, and I doubt a surveyor has gone through this neighborhood anytime soon, anytime recent, but I know in my travels, walking, biking, riding through the neighborhood, I have seen several iron pins with some orange ribbing wrapped around the top. And, who knows what they're marking, but they certainly appear that they're property boundaries. I don't know, in modern times, they're usually capped with the name of the surveyor or at least his license number. And you can figure out who that is just by going on the Board of Licensure. Or sometimes there's, some other means of identifying who the surveyor is on the boundary monument. But, you might want to try kicking around, see if you can find anything, and then I'll continue to look for some information that we may have that may assist you. I'm hoping that somebody in that area has done substantial enough work where they've decided to have their property surveyed. And it doesn't even necessarily need to result in a plan, in my opinion, but it's really up to the zoning board, where if you could have the surveyor go out there and locate the monuments and take some measurements for the closest distance to the property boundary from whatever structure it is, the porch in the front and the side, and then the small addition to the rear, then that would be the precise distance that the zoning board is looking for, so they can be certain that whatever variance they're going to grant is an accurate number, and then it will be, up to the board if they want to have that in the form of a plan submitted to us, which is always preferable, but I will continue to look through files, and hopefully I can come up with something.
Okay, may I add something? My only concern with the surveying is that after living up here myself for about 30 years plus, and people that have lived up here even longer, the terrain has changed, the roads have shifted. We go to survey things, the road's not where it originally was on these maps.
Mm-hmm.
So, how that will affect me going forward if the road is, on my front doorstep, according to your plans, but it's not now,
Well, if the plan,
That-
if the plan, in not dealing with a plan as old as this one, but if the road was built in a section other than what's shown exactly on the subdivision plan, then in these days, there are ways to deal with it with either easements, or the developer needs to shift the road back to where it's supposed to be built. But I'd say let's not be concerned about that at this point. Let's just see what we have for information, and then there's always a way of addressing things. So, we can just take it one step at a time.
And this is Denise, I'm speaking only for myself. And if the road has shifted away from your house a little, I'm not so concerned about your setback. I'm more concerned of us being accurate, and that this is accurate. When we give a variance, we're saying that you can place this porch a certain amount of feet from your property line, and it's just, I want that to be something that we know. You look around, there's people right on their property line, looks, even a little over their property line, like people did in the day. So I don't have an issue with it, personally.
No, and this is one, Stuart, I don't see a big problem with the stuff that is requested, but we need to know, if you're giving setbacks, you need to know where the lines are, or at least to have something other than guesswork to establish it.
And when it comes time to selling your property at some point in the future, if someone is doing their due diligence and asks, hey, how can you show me show me that everything here is where it's supposed to be, then, you know, this would be information, from a surveyor that you would be able to present, and that would certainly, remove any questions about that particular issue.
Aside from the variance, will I be able to move forward with a building permit as for the rest of the project?
Well, if you're requesting a building permit for anything having to do with the inside or the main structure, that's fine, but anything having to do with these additions, including pouring footings, pouring slabs, you can't do any of that yet.
Okay.
But just submit a building permit application to Mark Tessier. It just can't include, you know, any of the additions. That'll have to come at a later date. And you can ask him about, you know, the best way to address that, if you can apply for it now, but it wouldn't be issued for those particular items, you know, as far as the additions are concerned, or just, seems like it would be easier just to submit a separate application after the zoning board decision is made.
So we'll get this surveyed and come back next month.
Okay. Great. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
We need a motion to continue
Thanks,
the
Art.
application.
I'll motion to continue till the next meeting.
Second.
Thank you.
Denise and
Yeah,
Len.
hold on just a second.
So Denise and Len have made a motion to continue the application to the meeting for the month of August. We're going to take a roll call vote. Sandra?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Len?
Yes.
And I say yes as well, so the meeting will be August, wait a minute, what's the date in August? Anybody got a calendar handy?
Done. I have my
And on my phone.
ordinance. Hold on just a sec.
Let's see, August,
First
August
Tuesday in
4th.
August is the 4th.
the 4th, August 4th? Okay, so this application will be continued to August 4th, 2020. And this is considered notice to any abutters or interested parties who might otherwise get notice, so that the applicant doesn't have to pay for the fees again.
Time, location?
And the meeting will be, the meeting will be here at Town Hall, 16 Main Street in Goffstown. Presuming it may well still be partially remote, I don't know.
Yes.
So that part's yet to be determined.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good night.
You
You
too.
too.
Now, do we have any other info, Nancy? I don't have any correspondence, except we do have the Town and Country magazine if somebody's interested in looking at it.
Are we in it?
I don't know. I didn't look at it.
Hold on a minute. I just had to change my password yesterday, so I have to think about it.
Oh, this is from
Oh, that's why.
NHMA? Yes.
Yes.
Municipal Association. Do you want to look at it?
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Okay, and if we have no correspondence, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
And Sandra, we made a motion to adjourn?
I will second it, or I will just give my yes to it.
Okay, because we have the motion, we have the second. Okay, and Denise,
Yes.
Len,
Yes.
and I say yes. The meeting is adjourned at 8:35. Thank you.